Right, it's been some time since I made a video on this channel, so I think we should change that. I've not done much on the channel because I've been doing lots with the Volkswagen channel, the Classic Air-Cooled channel, which is People's Car. I shall link to that up above if you're interested in classic Volkswagens. Unfortunately, I've not been doing much on that channel either recently because I've been busy renovating a house for this last 6 months. Now, because of that, the garage is just rammed full of all the spare parts and bits left over and all sorts. So I've literally got about a metre to move, so thankfully we don't need much space for this little project. And the other good side to having a house project is you end up with lots of offcuts. So offcuts of bathroom floor in this case, which is 22mm chipboard. So from the chipboard I've cut 3 of these, which is just a really roughly cut circle of chipboard wood, and that sits in the top of our barrel. Something like that. So it's relatively tight in there, so it's not going to wobble too much, and that should hopefully keep our top in place. Before anyone says anything, this is a brewery owned cask. It's owned by the yellow and brown stripy company. I'm not sure who it is because the label's washed off. So I've borrowed 3 of these from my local pub, but they do have to go back because once they're empty they get sent back to the breweries. So if you speak to your local brewery, the chances are they'll have some beaten up old casks, and they usually sell them to you for a few quid if you ask them nicely. It doesn't matter if they're a bit beaten up because you're only parking your bum on it, and it kind of gives them a bit of style, to be honest with you. It makes them look a bit more authentic. So yeah, so I'm just waiting for my own casks to be available, and I've got these on loan in the meantime. So I've got my seat base. I've drilled 4 holes in there so I can put a screw through and attach it to another piece of wood, and the plan was to cut another piece of wood slightly wider than this one, a bigger diameter circle that sits over the lip of the top of the cask, and that becomes our seat base where you can put your bum. Now I've kind of changed plans a little bit. Originally I was going to get my top piece of wood, some foam on there so it's nice and soft to sit on, and then cover the new top with the foam on it with material from, in this case, Beavertown neck oil umbrella material. So the same friendly landlord gave me 3 of these because he's got a bunch of umbrellas all broken, but the tops were kind of just floating around and he can't use them. So I think they look absolutely badass, I really do, and they really match my Dave Bar. If you haven't seen the Dave Bar, I'll also link to that video up above. It's a previous little project I made using an old VW van, and we converted it into an outside bar, which is awesome and I love it. However, cool as this may be, I'm not doing this because I found something else to use. Remember those house projects? Well, I've had this piece of wood in the garage for about a decade, and I'll be glad to find it a new home. Now this is an offcut from a kitchen we fitted, or a utility top we fitted. It is hardwood, but it's manufactured, it's not one solid piece. So I'm not sure how it'll last outside, but the tops are removable, so when I'm not using them or it's raining bad weather over winter, I can easily remove them, pop them out in the weather. So I'm sure they'll do me a good few years service before it's a problem. So the plan is to cut the circles out, and we'll shape the edges so they're nice and rounded and nice in your legs, give them a lick of decent varnish, and I think they will look proper quality. So that's what we're going to do. They're not perfect, but I've sanded off all the kind of high points and knobbly bits. As I don't actually own a router, I got my father involved with this one to give me a hand. Thank you, Dad. So we just rounded the corners off, and I just basically sanded them nice and smooth and rounded, so they're nice on your legs. I've never used a varnish like this one. It's more like PVA mixed with acrylic or something. So I'll put a single coat on the bottom, so I want to try and seal it from the weather. It's going to be sandwiched with the other piece of wood anyway, so hopefully that's vaguely waterproof once it dries. So I'm going to flip it upside down and do top side. Number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm also going to varnish the boards which go under the seat. Chipboard's probably going to be the weakest point in this in terms of lasting in the weather. Water and chipboard does not mix very well. This is moisture resistant, but it's not made to be outside in the rain. It is going to be covered with other wood. I'm saying the liquid varnish on there. Hopefully I'll give it a bit of extra protection. Right, 2 more and we're done. So 2 coats and it's smooth, and then 2 more coats, and they're not quite perfectly smooth. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of wanted that old-fashioned thick lacquer smoothness, but so maybe I should have gone for oil-based lacquer. Also, I did go across this way before I sanded it on the second coat, and you can still see those lines. So if you are doing this, stick with the grain. Just going to pre-drill them so I don't split the wood. Chuck some screws in. Job's a good one.
Polished.